Welcome to Wall Street Confidential. Jim, now we're in an environment now where we've got just a handful of banks left, and they're the Superbanks: J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Citi, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bancorp. Should we have a buying strategy here? I mean, obviously there's more confidence now in these banks.
All right, first of all, Wachovia teaches you, I mean, here's a company where the CEO came on my show and said, listen, we only have $10 billion in bad loans. And, I wanted to believe him, but Citigroup buys it and says that there's $47 billion in bad loans. That disparity makes it so that I'm uncomfortable saying you should buy any of these right now until we see how the plan's working. Mm-hmm. These guys, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bancorp, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan are winners. But remember, they're up huge. J.P. Morgan was up huge on Friday. We had a very big relief rally in the banks. My thinking is, let's use it like this, as between buying one of those fortress banks and buying an oil, if you could get an oil that yields 4 or 5% versus a bank that yields 4 or 5%, I'd rather have that oil pay the dividend. I don't want to be, if these come back down, it will be of great interest to me. Here's why I don't want to be more aggressive. It's two reasons. One is we don't really know. There's all these new things in the plan that I'm trying to get my arms around. I think the plan's a good one, and I think the taxpayer will make money with it. I'd like to invest in the plan more than I'd like to invest in banks. But I don't know. There's so many new strings. I've really got to see, as the strings play out, whether they are going to make it so banks will participate. But the second thing I think is more important is that Citigroup bought and J.P. Morgan bought two really low-quality banks. If the foreclosures continue and if the house price depreciation continues, then those buys will be bad, okay? In other words, in a meltdown, don't run into the fire. Just stay on the sidelines and watch. And we're in a meltdown mode right now with these stocks still very high, well off their July 15 lows. I think it's perfectly realistic to think that even the fortress banks could have a big leg down here, if only because we don't know whether the plan is even going to be approved, right? We don't know. There could be, we thought it would be done last week and there's last minute snags. And also because we have to be concerned that there'll be another leg down of house price depreciation that will make it so that if the 65 cents on the dollar turns out to be too high, which is what Wachovia works out to, which is what Washington Mutual works out to. I just want to be sure. In other words, we're in a moment where executives, I think, either don't know how bad their book of business is or they're lying about it. And I'd much rather say, okay, well, look, here's Celgene down a couple of bucks. And they've got a really solid book of business that has nothing to do with anything other than staying alive.
There's clarity there.
Right. That, I just don't want to run into burning buildings after they've just started, because all the banks we just talked about have had very big runs.
All right. Thank you very much, Jim. That's how to analyze the banks right now. This is Wall Street Confidential. Stay tuned.